Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, so a few of my viewers want to know about what I mean by all the dramas of returning to dating, and I thought I would elaborate in a little bit more detail here because I often talk about it very generally that dating stress is contributing to this and that. Now, the main catalyst for me wanting to return to the dating scene was what had happened last summer. Last summer, I was juggling two jobs, my art career, and also a few other things, the logistics of settling here in Phoenix. And I got really ill with COVID-19, and it was during a heat wave as well. And I quickly realized how alone I was. And I wasn't thinking about alone in terms of not having a life partner, but alone in the sense that in American culture, people turn on you when things go wrong, right? You can be doing really well and try to get a few things wrong, right? A car accident, or get sick, or bad weather, or get into some sort of situation, right? A disagreement with a roommate. Oh my God, the world will turn against you quickly. I invite you to pause the video to think about how many unexpected events separate you from complete disaster in your life, right? Not necessarily just financial disaster, but disaster in your social standing, or disaster in terms of your work performance, right? Well, right? I invite you to pause the video to think about it, and it's very humbling if you really stop and think about it. Okay, got that out of the way. So I decided that I needed a second set of hands, right? And but I didn't know where to start. And I had a meetup group that I was going to, and I also knew the leader of this group through a church. And I talked extensively to him. After I had recovered from COVID-19, I spent a lot of time with him, telling him about the story. And eventually he set me up on a blind date. And did it go anywhere? Not really, but I made a lot of connections, although I had a problem that led to the downfall of those connections. I'll get to that in a moment. But having that one blind date under my belt really helped me have the courage to make moves on other people. Let's put it that way. And eventually I met a girl in Taiwan, and then I met another girl in Houston. And last night we were just chatting about some of this dating strategy. I'm not dating the girl in Houston anymore, but she also started dating somebody else, and we've been strategizing together, so that's good. Now, unfortunately, none of this moves in a straight line. There was a time when the girl in Taiwan and we've been on and off. 2 nights ago, she said a few things that I wasn't sure what it was about. And there was a time when we didn't talk for about 3 weeks as well. And sometimes when I'm on the edge like that, I turn to food, unfortunately. And so my eating disorders have returned full force, actually. To give you an idea what I mean by eating disorders, I get very angry when anybody tries to stop me from eating. I just lost, I had to move out of a home because of that. What had happened was, I had one roommate who's a borderline alcoholic. One day, I had accidentally misplaced his toilet paper, or not toilet, the tissue paper, a box of tissues. I had misplaced them, and he was upset. And also, he misplaced his cigarettes. We had argued because I knew he wanted to quit smoking, and I thought I could tell him about how cigarettes are radioactive, and he got very upset at that remark. And after the discussion, he misplaced the cigarettes. He was very upset. His stuff was disappearing. And I was getting ready to eat after a long day, and he accused me of smiling after he was already upset and not being able to find his cigarettes. He's like, "Quit smiling. This isn't funny." And I told him I wasn't. And then he starts shouting again. That I'm smiling at him, and I said, "Why don't you just look away then?" I was so upset. Normal times I would have more patience, but I was already stressed about the dating situation, and I was eating to deal with that, and now he was trying to stop me from eating. I was just maxed out, and situations like, and then my other roommate, he's threatening to kick me out of the home. And you know what, one of my biggest fears is hearing these threats about me, people threatening to kick me out. I do not take that very well, by the way. I mean, I like moving out of places where I have toxicity, but when I have all my art and all my worldly possessions in one place, and especially if the weather isn't too good outside, hearing somebody threatening to kick me out is just very, very, very no, I don't like to deal with it. And so, not surprisingly, I made plans to move out, and unfortunately, all of that was triggered by, or at least started from all the dating stress that I've been pushed under. And then I forgot about a performance review I had at work. My dean comes to observe a class every semester, and she even asked me what day would be good, and we scheduled it, and then I forgot about it, and I was unprepared. Had I remembered the day of the review, I probably would have done a whole lot better. You know, I learned the hard way that most of us are on very thin ice at work constantly. It's not just the people who are written up or something like that, because if you mess up at work one time, all the eyes are drawn toward you, and every little detail after that just becomes magnified. So we're constantly on very thin ice at work. And I really dropped the ball that time. I was getting ready for the trip to Houston, and I just lost track of time and all that. Give you an idea, I forgot to pay my phone bill the other day. And so just... Anyway, it's one of those things that I want to get done with once and done, so that I never have to deal with this stress again. So please continue to pray for me by leaving a dislike on this video. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.